So what do you do if you want to draw the animation? So let's actually clear the current animation that's on the timeline. I want to stay within this same file. I'm going to go to this, I believe it's 4 lines, little 4 lines here on the side of the panel, the timeline panel, and I'm going to click, and it gives me lots of different options, many of which are down here in this little menu bar, but I'm going to click delete animation. So I want to start over, and I'm actually going to make new layers. I'm going to do the classic bouncing ball, and I'm going to draw the horizon line quickly. And I'm actually going to show you guys a quick trick for drawing straight lines in Photoshop. All you need to do is take your brush pen, and before you click, hold Shift, and then draw your pen straight across, and it'll make a perfect straight line for you. Whereas if I do that freehand right now, it's going to look more like that. And I'm actually going to make a new layer, name that ball, name this one line, name this one circle. Oops. So now on ball, I'm going to draw just a quick, not perfect ball. And I'm going to time-lapse this so it's a little bit faster, but I'm going to draw a few more frames of a ball bouncing. Alright, so very quickly, what I did was I added 8 frames of a ball bouncing, and you can see throughout I was sort of making each layer transparent to use it as a guide. That practice of making it transparent and then using every frame as a guide to how you're going to draw the next frame is called onion skinning. There is a dedicated onion skinning feature, but you can sort of do it within Photoshop by just layering your opacities. So I'll show you guys all the frames individually. So here's ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 starts to do something that's called squash in animation terms. So there's something called squash and stretch. If you've watched Looney Tunes or any sort of old-timey Fleischer Brother cartoons, they do a lot of squashing and stretching where the body sort of goes up and down. So to show the weight of the ball hitting the ground, I made it squash for a panel or two, and then it comes up back into its normal shape. So by ball 8, this 8th frame, it looks pretty similar to the first frame. So to animate that super quickly, we're going to go to frame 1, and you can see because I was drawing on separate layers, frame 1 has sort of shown all of these layers at once, so you can see the trajectory of the full animation. I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn off all of these layers except for the first one. And then on layer 2, I'm going to put ball 2. Now I'll hit new layer, turn off ball 2, ball 3, and so on. So this means what you can do is you can actually draw all the frames of your animation separate from each other as layers, and then come in and do this process of showing the appropriate layer. Alright, so now let's test it by playing. You know, it's not Pixar level, but it's pretty good. So I will actually show you guys an animation that I did that isn't necessarily exactly like this, where it's one image sort of moving, but it's a series of images that make an animation. So let's skip to that. So you guys will have to forgive how disorganized this file is. It is kind of a mess. I would say that part of the reason I'm asking you guys to sort of get into this habit of organization is that through making this GIF, which is many, many different frames, I had a lot of confusion. I did not label things. You know, I made things out of order, so it was a learning process for me. And I'll say that organization helps, especially with 60 plus frames. So I'm actually going to hit play. And so this is an animation that's also on my website. This was about my feelings of being, you know, my life being overturned by sudden isolation due to COVID, and what I was doing and looking at in my house while I was still trying to feel like I can make art, period. So animation was actually the thing that helped me get out of my immediate rut, was the thing that helped me express this feeling of like haunting my own house, like being stuck in it so much that it was, I was becoming this ghost. Or this dust bunny, rather. So this is a bunch of different individual drawings that I then turned into animation frames. And part of what I love about this animation is that it allowed me to not think of it as like a project I have to go start to finish, like has to have this narrative arc, but I could just draw what I could in the moment, and then I could add it to the animation. So I drew these drawings probably over the course of 3-4 weeks, and then every time I would have a new drawing of, so here's my apartment, this is the floor plan for the 2 floors we live on, and as soon as I had a new image I knew I wanted to be in the animation, I could just add it. So actually, let's hit stop and look at a couple of these. So this drawing of one of my plants I did one day, the matchbox another day. I think this one of my chair that I use at my drawing table and my cat Howl here was another day. So part of the thing that was enlightening about this project was that I could animate, but I didn't have to draw things like a person walking, if that makes sense. One other thing, you can see that this is one frame, and then here is actually another frame, and then all of these frames in between are tweens. So this sort of coming in and then fading out effect was done with 2 frames, one without the text and then one with the text. So yeah, that's my project that I've recently worked on. I hope that's enlightening. I can definitely share this with you guys. It's on my website too, but if you want the file, I can also share that with you. You can come in here and mess around with it.